We'll do the Owl and the Pussycat. The Owl and the Pussycat went to sea in a beautiful pea green boat. They took some honey and plenty of money wrapped up in a 5-pound note. The owl looked up to the stars above and sang to a small guitar, "Oh, kitty, my love, my beautiful kitty, what a beautiful kitty you are. You are, what a beautiful kitty you are." The Pussycat said, "Oh, owl, you elegant fowl, how charmingly sweet you sing. Oh, let us be married, too long we have tarried. But what shall we do for a ring? A ring, a ring. But what shall we do for a ring?" So they sailed away for a year and a day to the land where the bong tree grows. And there in the woods a piggy-wig stood with a ring at the end of his nose. "Dear pig, would you be willing to sell for 1 shilling your ring?" "Oink, oink," said the piggy, "I will." So they took it away and were married next day by the turkey who lives on the hill. They dined on mince and slices of quince, which they ate with a run-kibble spoon. And hand in hand on the edge of the sand, they danced by the light of the moon. The moon, the moon, they danced by the light of the moon. All right, now I'm going to do Midnight on the Ocean. It was midnight on the ocean, not a ship or star in sight. The first mate and the cook were having a terrible fight. The captain from his cabin for his coffee he did call. I guess he heard the noise and wanted to end the brawl. The first cup down his hatchet went, the second one went over the side. Just after he had drank it, he fell to the deck and died. The first mate cried, "'Tis poison!" The cook replied, "It is not." Next thing we knew it happened, poor Cookie had been shot. Ever since this tragedy happened, whenever this boat's at sea, they never serve coffee, they always just serve tea. We'll do A Mouse Named Joe. This is a poem that I wrote when I was in high school. Once there was a mouse named Joe who lived in a deep, dark hole. And one night when it was very cold, Joe went over the hill to a house to see a pretty little girl mouse who thought of Joe as a louse, L-O-U-S-E, louse. To him that night, she was a beautiful sight. She felt like telling Joe to go fly a kite. Ye gads, what a sickening sight, for Joe was a mouse with no might. So with some super cheese, she gave him a bite, and Joe felt like he was born to fight. So Joe went looking for a bad mouse named Kip, who always had a droopy lip, and he drank so much whiskey he looked like a drip. So when Joe fought Kip, he began to whip. Because of some super cheese, he had took a nip, and Joe mauled Kip from toe to tip. Well, to make a long story short, Joe returned to Betty Ann, where he found her sitting on a can. Well, where else would you expect a mouse to sit? Certainly not reposed upon your best divan. And when he approached her, she took up his hand and knew at once that Joe, mighty Joe, was her man. Little orphan Annies come to our house to stay, to wash the cups and saucers up and brush the crumbs away, and shoo the chickens off the porch and dust the hearth and sweep, and build the fire and bake the bread and earn her board and keep. And all us other chillens, when the supper things is done, we set around the kitchen fire and has the most of fun, a-listening to the witch tales that Annie tells about, and the goblins that get you if you don't watch out. And once there was a little boy, wouldn't say his prayers, and when he went to bed at night, away upstairs, his mammy heard him holler, and his daddy heard him bawl, and when they turned the kivers down, he wasn't there at all. They seeked him in the rafter room and cubby hole and press. They seeked him up the chimbley flue and everywheres, I guess, but all they ever found was this his pants and roundabout, and the goblins will get you if you don't watch out. And one time a little girl would always laugh and grin, and make fun of everyone and all her blood and kin. And once, when they was company, an old folks was there. She mocked them and shocked them and said she didn't care. And this as she kicked her heels and turned to run and hide, they was two great big black things a-standing by her side. They whisked her through the ceiling before she knowed what she's about. And the goblins will get you if you don't watch out. And little Orphan Annie says, when the blaze is blue and the lamp wick sputters and the wind goes woo, and you hear the crickets quit and the moon is gray and the lightning bugs and dew is all squinched away, you better mind your parents and your teachers fond and dear, and cherish them that loves you, and dry the orphan's tear, and help the poor needy ones that cluster all about, ere the goblins will get you if you don't watch out. From ghosties and ghoulies and long-legged beasties and things that go bump in the night, good Lord preserve us.